Everywhere we see this assertion of freedom, this freedom of the soul. It is reflected in every religion in the shape of God or gods. But it is all external yet, for those who only see the gods outside. Man decided that he was nothing. He was afraid that he could never be free. So he went to seek for someone outside of nature who was free. Then he thought that there were many and many such free beings, and gradually he merged them all into one God of gods and Lord of lords. Even that did not satisfy him. He came a little closer to truth, a little nearer, and then gradually found that whatever he was in some way connected with the God of gods and Lord of lords. That he, though he thought himself bound and low and weak, was somehow connected with that God of gods. Then visions came to him, thought arose and knowledge advanced, and he began to come nearer and nearer to that God, and at last found out that God and all the gods, this whole psychological phenomenon connected with the search for an all-powerful free soul, was but a reflection of his own idea of himself. And then at last he discovered that it was not only true that God made man after his own image, but that it was also true that man made God after his own image. That brought out the idea of divine freedom. The divine being was always within, the nearest of the near. Him we had ever been seeking outside, and at last found that he is in the heart of our hearts. You may know the story of the man who mistook his own heartbeat for somebody knocking at the door, and went to the door and opened it, but found nobody there, so he went back. Again he seemed to hear a knocking at the door, but nobody was there. Then he understood that it was his own heartbeat, and he had misinterpreted it as a knocking at the door. Similarly, man, after his search, finds out that this infinite freedom that he was placing in imagination all the time in the nature outside is the internal subject, the eternal soul of souls. This reality he himself